They have come to America from the farthest corners of the earth, sporting their banners of allegiance, laying down a challenge to the home team. Resolve, determination, and pride fuel the athletes as they challenge the apparatus and push their own limits in a sophisticated ballet of strength and grace. And while the results are not always glorious, the effort is always maximum. They have come to the first major international championship of the 90s, full of hopes of glory and dreams of gold, openly proclaiming their Olympic aspirations. From just outside our nation's capital, it's the 1990 McDonald's American Cup Gymnastics Championship. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Patriot Center in Fairfax, Virginia. I'm Joel Myers, and we're down to the final 16 now. The competition started with the preliminaries with 60 participants. Now it's 8 men and 8 women vying for the all-around title. These championships started back in 1976 to commemorate our bicentennial. Over the past 14 years, they have truly turned into one of the greatest international gymnastics competitions. Joining us today, a past winner here in 1977, also an Olympic medalist in 1984, Kathy Johnson. Kathy, a great international challenge.
It really is, Joel. The American Cup is exciting in that it has a tradition of oftentimes being a preview of Olympic champions and medalists, going back as far as 1976, when a relative unknown, Nadia Comaneci, vaulted into prominence by winning the American Cup and then, of course, becoming Olympic champion that year. Americans have done likewise. Julianne McNamara, Phoebe Mills, and, of course, how can we forget our own Mary Lou Retton, who won the Olympic all-around in 1984. It's always been a great showcase of talent here, and it's not going to be any different this year.
Also with us today, another former winner of the American Cup in 1985, a year after he won a gold medal at the Summer Games in Los Angeles, Tim Daggett. And Tim, the degree of difficulty that we've been watching has been absolutely amazing.
Well, Joel, you know, over the past few days of competition and in the practice sessions, there were many skills being done that have never been done before. The level of difficulty here is higher than I've ever seen before, and personally, I was completely blown away by it. And I think this says something very important about the American Cup. The prestige of it and the tradition. We're not just seeing the top countries here, but we're seeing their premier athletes that are hoping to figure prominently come a couple years down the road at the Olympic Games in Barcelona, Spain.
So we are down to the final 16 in the American Cup Championships. Let's take a look at the standings. On the men's side, after 3 apparatus, starting with the bottom 4 in 5th position, the 18-year-old from the Soviet Union, Kolyovanov. And a great surprise for the United States after 3, Kevin Davis, the leader, and Lance Ringnauld in 3rd position. Davis not even expected in the finals, but gained an entry, Tim, because of an injury to the Cuban.
Yeah, it's a little bit ironic because in the past, Kevin has many times himself had to withdraw from a competition because of injuries.
Here's his very first event of the day, the floor exercise.
Yeah, and a very strong effort for Kevin Davis on his first outing here. He'll do a 1 3/4 laid-out somersault and land flawlessly.
Davis served as the team captain for the United States in last year's World Championship, so maybe a leader down the road once again in 92.
Oh, he's a veteran, and this is the best effort I have seen Kevin put forth on the floor exercise.
So it was a 9-6 for Kevin Davis as he moved to his next event, the pommel horse.
And Kevin is no stranger to big scores on this event. This is far and away Kevin's best event in gymnastics. He'll show us some beautiful work on one pommel. Travel across the horse here. This is called a Magyar walk. And now he really gets going as he travels the entire horse in flare and spindling positions. Beautiful work by Kevin.
He was first at the U.S. Championships last year on this very event. And a 9.65 for Kevin Davis on the pommel horse as he started to build on his lead. Now, finally, his 3rd event, the rings.
And Kevin would need a strong event here. This is characteristically not one of Kevin's strong points, but he does a fabulous job. Starts off with a nice kip to an L cross. Kevin showed a lot of composure in this routine. He realized that he was in the forefront, and he just had to make no errors whatsoever. Here's a major skill for Kevin, followed by a tucked Yamawaki. The beautiful straddle L. Now the key to this routine comes right here. Kevin completely rocks this dismount.
It was an outstanding finish to the rings for Kevin Davis with a 9.55. So after the first three apparatus, Kevin Davis of the United States, the leader. He's being followed closely right now by a couple, including Lance Ringnauld of the United States. Standing in third position, the young man from Albuquerque, New Mexico, the second-place finisher here last year.
And Lance shows a beautiful floor exercise routine. This is one of his strong suits. Shows an excellent 1.5 twisting, 1 3/4 somersault in the laid-out position.
A 9.65 of the floor exercise. His second event, the pommel horse.
And this is where Lance ran into a few problems. This has never been one of Lance's strongest events, and he told me before the competition he just wanted to get through this routine without any major errors. Now we'll note right there he gets a little bit off balance, and he just can't control himself right here, and he has a hesitation, which in a competition like this is a major deduction.
So a break in form in the pommel horse earlier for Lance Ringnauld. That cost him. They graded him down to a 9.35. And his third event, finally, the rings.
Well, Lance gets right back on track here with an excellent performance on the rings. A beautiful back roll to a cross. That's called an Azarian.
He truly is one of the strongest competitors in this area.
He does an excellent ring routine, and he really shows the positions off. If you notice in the cross positions, he lifts his head to tell the judges in the crowd, hey, this is easy for me.
He's only 19 years old, 5'7", 150 pounds. At the age of 18, became the youngest member of our Olympic team in 20 years when he participated in Seoul, South Korea.
He is definitely our shining hope for the future. Now this is the key to this routine. Watch this. He nails this landing.
A 9.65 for Lance Ringnauld on the rings. Currently third after the first three apparatus for the men. Over in the women's division, they have completed only one apparatus so far. Kosugi of Japan in sixth position. Great start for the United States once again. First and third with Kim Zmeskal leading so far. Sandy Woolsey in third position. Let's look back now on the second vault of Kim Zmeskal from Bela Karolyi's gym.
Kim really set the pace here by surpassing Natalia Kalinina of the Soviet Union, who actually did a more difficult double twisting Yurchenko. But she had trouble with the landing, not like Kim right here. She just nailed it.
Perfect form and an exceptional score of 9.937 for Kim Zmeskal, only 14 years old. Now Sandy Woolsey.
Sandy did this Yurchenko with a full twist as well as she has ever performed the vault. And watch the landing. Again, another stuck landing.
Young lady who makes her home in Tempe, Arizona, with her coach Stormy Eaton, 9.825. This is a very unique competition where the men and women are going to be alternating the rest of the way. Here's what's remaining now for the women: the uneven bars, the balance beam, and the floor exercise. 3 events left for the men as well: the vault, the parallel bars, and the high bar. Now as we pick up action, young man from East Germany, Rolf Buchner.
He does an extremely difficult laid-out Cuervo with just one step. One of the most difficult vaults being done in the world today.
And a fairly clean landing for Rolf Buchner. Young man who's very excited about being in the United States.
Yeah, you know, I had some time to spend with him before the competition, and it's amazing the change in the East German athletes. They're so friendly, so excited to be here, and just having a real good time.
He's 22 years old from Potsdam, and when we talked to him about the competition and about his life back in East Germany, a big smile came across his face as he told us about his 6-month-old daughter and the opportunities she would have now with the changes in his country. It's alternating competition, and it's back to the women's side. Kalinina now from the Soviet Union on the uneven bars.
And Natalia looks very frail, almost slight looking, but in typical Soviet fashion, she has so much hidden strength and power, particularly on this event. She's in second